Hola, amigo. Welcome to my workshop. Anything that what's happened in WRC Mexico, we fix it here. If you lose the wheel, no problem. Wheels, tires, I have everything. If you have a little damage, I make it new again. And remember, I have everything. Sometimes you need to improvise. If you go off-road, take it this.
Where are we going to go here? Okay,
And for you, the fans, barbecue.
Mexico! Mexico!
Sit back, enjoy the action.
And what action we've got waiting at WRC Mexico. The fight for the championship is well underway, and we'll be in the blue corner, grappling with Thierry Neuville on his 100th WRC start.
I think we should have been the world champion, but I know the time will come. The focus is still the same, the motivation, the passion for the sport is still the same.
And on a rally like no other, what better place to follow a couple of petrol heads on their first WRC adventure? We'll be launching ourselves over the new-look El Brinco jump and soaking up the atmosphere. Epic highs and lows here at WRC Mexico. The latest stop on our round-the-world odyssey takes us to North America. Always a sun-soaked fiesta at the Rally Guanajuato, Mexico, our first gravel event of the year after an asphalt classic in Monte Carlo and the snow of Rally Sweden. We started the season with the closest finish in Monte Carlo history.
Here we go. Is it less than 5.2? He's done it! It is 2.2 seconds!
Much to the disappointment of Thierry Neuville, Sébastien Ogier pipped him to the line for his 6th consecutive victory in Monte Carlo and 100th win for Citroën. On to Sweden, and the 6-time world champion saw his rally end in a snowbank. While after his 3rd-place finish in Monte, Ott Tänak stormed home for the win and 5 points from the power stage. Cue the champagne at Toyota. Tänak's maximum score in Sweden sees him leading the Drivers' Championship for the first time in his career. 7 points the cushion to Neuville, with Ogier in 3rd. And double delight for Toyota, who lead the manufacturer's standings by a single point over Hyundai. M Sport in need of a boost, 28 points adrift, but all to play for heading into the Mexican stages.
We all know Mexico. You know, high altitude up to nearly 3,000 meters. And the hot temperatures, you know, up to 35 degrees. It's a huge challenge. This event is probably one of the toughest for the engineers in the car, you know. But yeah, it's tricky for the drivers too. It's like a cooker in there in the cars.
In Sweden we had like some -3 or really close to 0, and here it's +30. High altitude, so we are missing like 100 horsepower from the engine.
What does that feel like when you're driving?
Lazy car, hoping all the time more power. But then it's more important to carry the speed through the corners and change the driving style a bit. But it will be same for everyone.
I think the driving style have an influence for sure of the performance here, because you have a bit less power and the temperature is very high. So somehow if you stress a bit less the mechanic, I'm sure it have a positive effect on your performance.
Championship leader Ott Tänak has the job of opening the road and sweeping the loose gravel for the cars behind. Among them, Dani Sordo. The Spaniard was the early leader here last year and is back in place of Sebastian Loeb for Hyundai. Plenty to contend with on the Mexican stages, but lining them in their thousands, some friendly faces to help you on your way.
There's a lot of fans out there watching the stages, especially the stage 1. And the ceremonial start is always good fun here. It's a lot of passion you feel, so it's always a highlight for the rally.
21 stages and 314 competitive kilometers make up this Latin American classic. The lion's share of these stages are on loose gravel, but it all kicks off with something a little different.
The Guanajuato Street Stage sees this UNESCO World Heritage Site vibrate with a party atmosphere, and it's unparalleled in the calendar. And as for those fans that Andreas Mikkelsen mentioned, they're here in their thousands. It's a 1 kilometre street stage, and it's never short of atmosphere. And stage winner Esa-Pekka Lappi made sure the volume was turned up to 11. After that jump, though, the top 3 championship hopefuls were unable to run due to a damaged ramp, and nominal times were handed out.
After the break, we'll be back with a splash in Mexico. And it's another great escape for Citroën, who never fail to entertain. Welcome back to Rally Mexico. Friday is a big day for Ott Tanak. As championship leader, he'll be first on the road, clearing the loose gravel for those behind. These stages start out relatively unscathed, just the slightest of lines visible from the recce. But first on the road, Tanak will be cleaning the loose gravel from the surface. Thierry Neuville, well, he'll have a slightly clearer line. Ogier will benefit from even better grip being third on the road, and so on. The later you run, the more of this hard, grippy bedrock your tyres will be in contact with.
Of course, I need to do the best job what I can, and I guess also a bit more, so it will be definitely tough. Friday will be the key for us. If we can have a clean run and everything's working for us, then hopefully for Saturday morning we will get a good road position, and from there on everything should be possible.
It should be a bit more difficult for him this time, being first on the road. But anyway, we have to focus on ourselves, so being third on the road should offer us enough grip to be good, but then it will depend about our driving. Like very often on gravel, you have to be strong on Friday if you want to fight for the victory.
Time then for our WRC Elite to start their journey out to stage, with the locals happy to help the drivers look their best. Always a warm welcome here in Leon as the cars head out to battle. And here's what lay ahead on Friday. A total of 8 stages and 114 kilometres of competitive distance. Starting with the El Chocolate stage, where Ott Tanak will be sweeping the roads for nearly 32 kilometres. Let's hope he's got a broom in that Yaris.
Hey, Viva Mexico! There's nowhere like it on this World Championship. Where are we?
Bienvenidos a Mexico!
And there's nowhere quite as tough for the crew that sets off into the hills first. And for the first time ever, it was Ott Tanak. We could relax. Tanak had to wind himself up for the hardest day of his season. And just listen to all the rocks and the gravel clattering away under his car as he ploughed his way through the wonderfully named El Chocolate stage.
Good morning. Leading the championship, so first on the roads. Just how difficult was that this morning?
Beginning even not so bad, but in the end it got really slippy and loose, so it was a tough job, but car is good, so we did everything we could.
Character building. But would it be any easier for Thierry Neuville? behind the Estonian in the early title race. And look, with Oit's marks, Oit's lines are already there to follow and use. But immediately, Chocolati was taking a bite out of Neuville. The Belgian had clattered into something, and he was slowing.
Thierry, my goodness, that rear left, soft and delaminated.
We nearly went off because I tried to avoid the stones which Tanak put on the road, but on the rear small stone I drove over it, and suddenly we were punctured. So yeah, slow puncture, but we couldn't avoid it. We couldn't avoid it.
A rock and a hard place. That was Mexico. Sometimes you just couldn't avoid these rocks and stones. But you have to go back a long time to find the last time that world champion Seb Ogier wasn't one of the first two starters for a WRC round. Ogier starting third here, and already using the cleaner road well, and looking good, although he didn't sound convinced.
Grip is very low, I guess, but for height for sure it's worst. It's cleaning, so I expect guy going faster, but I'm not comfortable in the car.
Teemu Sunninen, very uncomfortable in his car. This is what can happen if you take on a boulder and come off second best. He slipped a little, lost his car from under him, and it took a rally-ending thump on the nose. Beached and battered. A tow truck was Teemu's next requirement.
On the middle of the stage, we were having a downhill braking. There was a stone and I hit the stone. And the wheel went off and we hit the mountain somewhere here and got quite big damages to the car.
However, having said all of that, it can be a different challenge at the back of the road order, and that's where Danny Sordo was, having missed Sweden and Monte Carlo in his part season for Hyundai. Sordo was making it look easy. His rivals had made the Mexican roads cleaner. Andreas Mikkelsen was another later starter. The road order, remember, based on championship positions. Andres needing a good Mexico after poor results on the winter rounds. And on Friday morning, the Mikkelsen magic was back.
It's getting tight at the top. Can our Norwegian keep his cool with Seb Ogier, a 4-times Mexico winner, breathing down his neck? At the service park in Leon, it's not getting any cooler or easier for Mikkelsen.
Not a comfortable lead, but small but nice.
So you say you have a little bit more margin to go on for this afternoon?
Yeah, well, it will be completely different because the grip will be completely a lot higher. So you also change the setup of the car. So it's a little bit of a different rally in sort of way on the second pass.
Very hot. That's we can see also here. It's gonna be difficult condition. But no, it should remain pretty similar condition. I hope the grip gonna be a bit higher, of course.
The morning was good. It was good. I'm a little bit surprised about the Sebastian was really fast with this road position. So I think Sebastian is in another planet.
But what of Seb's championship rivals? Tanak has been suffering the curse of the road sweeper down in 8th, and behind him Ogier's arch-rival Thierry Neuville, deflated after his puncture in stage 2. It's been a tough start for the Belgian in Mexico, a country famous for its wrestling tradition. A fitting venue then to join Thierry ringside and hear about his fight for championship glory on his 100th WRC start.
To be honest with you, I'm not really the guy following all the statistics and stuff like this. But when I got aware of that, I felt first at all surprised. I say, 100 is not possible. But I realized that it's actually already my 8th season in WRC. There were some times in the more early years, which were very tough, and there were some races also where, my career was depending on that one race, and coming into the championship, having no knowledge at all, because at that time, before, youngsters like me were competing in IRC and not in WRC2, so you had very little experience of WRC races, so it made it even tougher to experience the cars, the trucks.
In just his second full season in a WRC car, Neuville was already in the thick of a championship fight, and now with 9 wins under his belt, he's a driver clearly in the groove.
It came when we start feeling that we had the tool now to fight against mainly Sebastian, who had been 3 years with Volkswagen, and they were clearly unbeatable. But now when he changed the team and we got a new car which clearly is still competitive, we felt that now we are able to really do the job and fight for the championship.
Neuville has been runner-up to Sébastien Ogier 4 times in the WRC title race. It's a fierce rivalry, not short of the odd body blow between 2 heavyweight contenders.
It's clear that we are no friends, and we are not paid to be friends. We are here to do our job, but still I have a lot of respect for what he's doing. I definitely don't apply the same attitudes as him, and I'm sure I can still get the title with being maybe a little bit more kind also to other people. Sardinia was definitely one of the biggest highlights in my career, because that certain moment also, it was the first time I really felt proud myself to really feel like, yeah, we have beaten Ogier in a final sprint on equal conditions. We both had a very competitive car, and we were able to do that. Especially as he wanted as much as us, so that was a very nice moment.
It was a really great fight, bravo.
But last year it was very tough, and being first on the road more than half of the year, we had to give it everything all the time. I think we should have been the world champion, but I know the time will come. The focus is still the same, the motivation, the passion for the sport is still the same. I always remember back how difficult it actually is to get into WRC. I would like much more to look forward now to what is coming, and our main goal to be world champion very soon.
Thierry clearly has the will to go one better than runner-up in the WRC title fight. It surely won't be long before he walks away with the title.
Thierry Neuville. He never quite forced Seb Ogier into the submission he needed. And so the fight goes on. But look at that Mexico leaderboard, and the morning was over, and Thierry wasn't even in the top 5. Round 3 has been a bruising location for our Belgian wannabe champion. A bottle of the sponsor's beer did save his cracked engine a few years back. But here, now, Thierry was drying up. He was overdriving. And with these mistakes, he was brewing up inside.
I rarely give up, but I announced today that there's no chance for us to fight. No chance, no chance.
He said it twice, didn't he? No chance. But did he mean it? He would have to press on, because his teammate Mikkelsen was about to hit real trouble. And there it was. Did you see it? A rock right in the middle of the road. And it had done for him. He'd taken the lead in this stage in the morning. But now he and his co-driver would have to act quickly and change a wheel. But the problem hadn't gone away. A few kilometers later, the rally leader was pulling over. The suspension collapsed, and so had his weekend. And then, suddenly, the third I-20 was in crisis. Danny Sordo, in second place.
Yeah, I tried to fix something, but the battery was gone. and we can do nothing. I just check everything, and it's impossible. Even if we find the problem, we can't start the car because we don't have we have no power in the car. So.
Sort of powerless to find a solution, and he'd been so quick on Friday. And then there was another great escape for Esa-Pekka Lappi. Clobbering a tree in his C3. The car that had amassed 8 stage wins last season. This not as spectacular as his snowy pirouette in Sweden. But once again, Harry Houdini would have been proud of him. Mexico was Chris Meek's first event in the Yaris on gravel roads. Most of the championship is based on loose, unsealed stages. This was quick learning from the Northern Irishman. And with Sordo out, Meek was now on the podium, in 3rd place.
Slowing early right hug into sudden line, early 2 left cut.
Up ahead of him, Elvin Evans. He too worried about the state of his alternator. The best way to make sure it didn't overheat, but kept powering his Fiesta's electronics, was to get the day done fast. It was his best, tidiest day of the season. But would he be able to pass Seb Ogier? Not even a puncture in stage 7 had slowed the world champion down. Ogier had got the lead when Andreas Mikkelsen was left stranded. These had been difficult conditions. It had been a challenging day, but the defending champion had left everyone in his dust.
Just 6 WRC cars survived frantic Friday. Ogier, the leader, just under 15 seconds ahead of Evans, with Meek in 3rd, Tanak up to 4th.
Chris, 8 stages Friday, you find yourself in podium position. How pleased are you with the job that's been done today?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, we started 4th on the road, so it was going to be difficult. But you know, we missing a little bit to follow the pace of Ogier.
To be honest, it's about staying clean in the line, you know, and trying to find the grip. It's been very, very slippery out there, so you know, it should be a bit faster tomorrow, maybe a bit more high grip, so a bit of change of style tomorrow, perhaps.
For sure, our target is to stay where we are. We're going to benefit from the best start position tomorrow, but it's a long day with tricky section, probably rough, and we've seen that there's a lot of loose rocks coming on the road there and there, so you know, we'll have to stay out of trouble as well.
An ominous sign as full-time Rally Mexico winner Ogier leads, but Saturday's spectacular stage is still to come, and we'll be taking some friends along for the ride. Welcome back to Rally Guanajuato, Mexico. The sights and sounds of this spectacular state are truly something to behold. And thundering rally cars draw fans here from far and wide. Leo and his son Ion are 2 such fans who've travelled further than most to get their fix of the action.
I come from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here with my son.
Oh, look at this spoiler, Puffy.
He loves rallying. He's really into like the old, in the 80s, you know, the Audi Quattro and the, you know, Lancia Delta. Even he acknowledges that what rally drivers do is godlike. He goes up to me one day, he's like, well, let's go watch a rally.
Whoa, look at these doors.
Can you reach those pedals?
No.
And we're here. Look at that. We've traveled thousands of miles from our place of comfort, you know, to come see these guys duke it out in the dirt and in the streets, you know, and get introduced to a culture that we haven't experienced. We got a little tiny rental SUV, and we drove the entire route of the shakedown. And they're going to come through here sideways. And these guys are racing through here, bro. So you remember when we drove up there, going up the mountain? What you thought about that?
It was really cool, but it was also really scary at the same time because there was a big edge on the side of the road.
Look at that. It's a drop. If you overshoot that turn, nerves of steel.
To them, we got nerves of little plastic.
And look, this is the street stage. Oh, we got to drive all those tunnels right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, this is where they do the circle twice.
The donuts, yeah.
The city was very colorful.
Yes. Beautiful city.
Yeah, it was like blue and purple houses.
When he was about 3 years old, he really started getting into it and literally drifting full opposite lock on the steering wheel through the kitchen island. Grab the steering wheel. So on Saturday, what do you want to do?
I want to go to El Brinco.
El Brinco?
Yeah, and I want to go see some cars fly in the air like birds. It's gonna smell like burning exhaust and burning rubber. And I love the smoke.
So now that you've got to sit in a real rally car and see what it's like, you ready to go to El Brinco?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Saturday's stages will see that iconic El Brinco stage run twice. Sky-high action with an all-new jump this year. This is the longest day of the rally, 138 kilometers of action. No easy day at the office.
There's never a bad time for a barbecue. That's what you learn in this part of the world. Saturday was the longest day. But they wouldn't be such hard yards for Oyt Tanak. No longer the first on the road. The trick today, well, it was to keep the driving neat. Neat and tidy. That was neat and tidy, Oyt. A cliffhanger to start the day from Esa-Pekka Lappi. There was a downhill, tightening left-hand turn coming up. And EP was too fast into it. No lucky escape this time. A fan captured the precarious moment. Lappi's Saturday was over already. Not a C3, more a seesaw. First of the contenders to reach and pass Lappi had been Chris Meek. And Meek, sensing an opportunity, put together the drive of the day, taking heaps of time out of his teammate Tanak. Little bothered Elvin Evans over the weekend in what turned into a compelling attack of the hottest roads in the Americas. But now, more than ever, it was a time for calm, for care. Soon, yep, there it was. Elvin was through, past Lappi, without much delay. Then came the champ and the rally leader. And fortune favoured him. Because from here on in, he would be nursing a flat tyre. But the stage was red flagged and cancelled. The clerk of the course, seeing Lappi's leaning car, had halted things. A notional time was given to Ogier, 22 seconds slower than the fastest. It could have been more. Ogier, nonetheless, down to second.
Oh, Seb, it's a front right puncture. Where did it happen?
A bit earlier, but we had red flag anyway, so we had to stop. So... yeah, there was the rocks on the road pulled by, I don't know, the car in front. I couldn't avoid it in the line.
So that meant we had a new man up front, Northern Irishman Chris Meek.
Southern line, fast 5 left plus hug for 100.
Until, that is, there was a thump And then a rattling. And then miles of hard work and pain. Look at the rear right wheel. Rubber gone. The suspension was damaged too.
It's been a tale of two punctures this morning, but Meek's hurt him a lot more. The lead is back in the hands of Seb Ogier. Now it's down to Elfyn Evans to hunt down the Frenchman. Time now to join our father and son rally fanatics on the journey to El Brinco.
This is cool, puppy.
Oh, look at that.
That's steep.
Oh, they're gonna get some major airtime. They're gonna go like that and fly over that. What do you think?
No, I think they're gonna hit the blue thing.
Well, let's go, man. Let's go. Let's check it out.
That's cool how big that
Man,
jump
look at this
is.
landscape.
At El Brinco, the action starts well before the first car is into stage.
Well, when you took a look at the leaderboard now, the damage didn't look that bad, but the gaps between these rivals was growing. They'd redesigned the famous Brinco stage, and they were rerouting it over a new monster of a jump. Neuville the first to tumble down the hill on the approach, and then get himself ready for liftoff.
Summit jump à fond.
Here he comes.
There he goes. Gauchy. Gauchy.
That was so there. That was so there.
That was 40 meters.
40 meters. There we go. There we go. That was so there.
Somehow you couldn't not like this. But up the hill, the force of gravity seemed to suck Tanak into the deep gravel in Brinco's corners on the descent down towards that jump. Chris Meek had bigger problems. Look at this, driving slowly, nursing his Yaris, its suspension compromised. It was another time for calm, clean, calculating driving from Elfyn Evans. Now up into second place because of Meek's disaster.
Right down full, 200. Left of a big crest jump. 50. Flat left.
Oh, look, Bobby, that's the car we said it! That's the car we said it!
Yeah, that's right, that's the one!
Then came Seb Ogier. He must have thought that Meek had got the jump on him, back there on stage 10, but he would be next to turn heads.
200 mètres derrière. Jump 6 arrivé.
And Ogier would land with an even bigger lead over Elfyn.
After stage 12, Ogier's lead edging closer to the 20-second mark, with the luckless Chris Meek now over 2 minutes adrift of Neuville. But the fans, well, they loved it.
Rally Mexico is the best place you need to be at. It's amazing, there's a lot of fast cars, and if you're a car fanatic like us, it's the best place to be.
And the people, all of the Mexican people. Woo! You guys are awesome!
A drama-filled morning in Mexico, and back at the midday service, it is Sebastian Ogier who's on top.
Seb, you've seen drama with a puncture on the stage that was red flagged. Some will say you're quite lucky there.
Not really, because if you look the time that I got, it was not really a lucky time. I would have not lost anything more, maybe even less with the puncture until the end. So at the end, yeah, I think his puncture was not so lucky, but then I managed the rest of the loop okay, and we are still on the lead, so that's the most important.
Elfyn, you're in an Ogier Tanak sandwich right now. Is that a comfortable place to be?
Yeah, it's okay, so long as I make my way to the top of the sandwich, then it's okay. But yeah, obviously it's been a rough morning out there, you know, some difficult places, a lot of loose rocks about. Try to avoid what we can, but there's some of them you just can't, and it's been tough out there.
After a short service, the pack is shuffled and it's time to do it all over again on what's become a rally of attrition. Little time to stop and appreciate the beauty of the region for our WRC stars, but a Mexican wave sees our drivers safely into the afternoon stages.
Siesta over. Stage 13. Foot down time. And this, well, this looked to be the perfect place for Andreas Mikkelsen. Mikkelsen up on the rev limiter, but still under those restart rules and about to be clobbered with more bad luck. All of that momentum, and it was taken away by a gate. More work for the rally officials, who decided to hand him a nominal time. More work for the versatile co-driver Anders. Were it not for the bad luck, these boys would have had no luck in Mexico. Thierry Neuville was Hyundai's last hope to score big points. Still fighting for all he was worth as the heat intensified. Trying to keep his driving clean as the corners filled with the dust and gravel.
Sur 120, droite 50 moins, presque bidon aspire. Droite 50 moins, presque bidon aspire. Et gauche 93, ferme corde. Et droite 150 plus, à fond.
Chased down by the helicopter, Oyt Tanak. Tanak by now was the fastest, the best placed of the Toyotas. Tanak getting a sudden reminder of the perils that still lay, buried almost in these roads. Knowing that very little was going to stop the Estonian from looming up at speed, Elfyn Evans pushed on.
3 right, round ball, 200. Left of a big crash jump.
In Mexico, it was as if the Welshman was reaching for new heights. It was all going well.
Elfyn, a difficult couple of stages for you. The gap's now down to 3.8.
Yeah, obviously not ideal. That still felt like a good stage. A few little mistakes at the start that cost some time, but I struggled a bit in the previous one, to be honest. A lot of oversteer, but yeah, Oyt is driving well these last couple.
Saturday had been the rally's longest day. Seb Ogier must have been happy to see the end of it. Ogier had a busy old day. He'd lost his lead on stage 10, he'd won it back, he'd done long stretches without a spare tyre because of a puncture. But at the end of it, he still had time to say hello to the fans in Spanish.
Sebastian's still setting great times in there, even though you've got a big lead.
Yeah, I think, you know, behind me they are pushing both very hard for fight, so I cannot really relax.
The fans here love you.
Yeah, it's been amazing, the support. I really enjoy it. Thank you so much. Gracias, amigo.
But then, that night, it all got too much. On an evening spectator special, he clattered a tyre barrier. Now that would encourage Elfyn Evans on Sunday. 7 seconds were lost.
So Ogier with a 27-second cushion at the top, but one Mexican rock could put an end to that. There'll be no sleep for Elfyn Evans tonight, with Oyt Tanak just 2.2 seconds behind in third. Ogier on course for win number 5, while behind him it's on a knife edge. Join us after the break for the conclusion of Rally Mexico. Sunday morning at Rally Guanajuato, Mexico, and the sun is shining on Sébastien Ogier, the Frenchman, with a 27-second lead at the top, with the battle behind him raging on.
It hasn't been a trouble-free weekend for me still, so I know I need to be really focused this morning and do a good job, because I know how it's gonna push until the end, especially as they are fighting with Elvin for the second place. So both gonna drive fast, obviously, this morning. If I do the job, he shouldn't be able to catch me, but it's still almost 60 Ks.
Sebastian is far away, so we know he's had a good speed through all the weekend. Let's see. I believe first battle will be with Elfin, and it will be a good one, I believe.
It's going to be a big fight. Obviously, we want to do the best job we can, keep fighting to the end, and yeah, let's wait and see what happens.
Just 3 stages today, but as Seb said, still 60 kilometres to negotiate to the east of Leon. 2 long stages in the morning before the 11-kilometre Las Minas power stage, with bonus championship points up for grabs. Out in the hills and mountains of Mexico, final preparations are made before the start of Sunday stages. There are worse places to shake off the sleep and start the day, and worse ways to spend a Sunday. The podium battle is finally poised, and we're ready for action.
Sunday brought the day of destiny. 3 concluding stages, with 1 or 2 scores still to be settled. And after all the heartbreak, the failed alternator, and yet all of that effort, something for Danny Sordo to smile about. On his return to the championship with his part programme with Hyundai, Danny was up another place and into 9th. Mexico's Benito Guerra was, if you like, the Seb Ogier of WRC2. The best of the support classes. Over from Mexico City, he won 9 of the category stages and finished 6th in the main event as well. Jari-Matti Lavela was looking forward to the finish ramp. His electrics had given up on him before Friday evening city stages. But Mexico had not been the same challenge since. And now, more pain. A rock, hidden in that corner, had wrecked his radiator right at the end of the penultimate stage. It meant that while teammate Oitanek was chasing down Elvin Evans, Jari-Matti was looking for water to fill his radiator. What a contrast. Lavela tried to save his engine and salvage a weekend. Tanak saving nothing. Not even rubber. Hidden rocks held no fear for Oitanek. Oitanek wanted to separate Elvin Evans from second place at the earliest opportunity.
We gambled a bit with the tires, and I believe this one was maybe the worst for the tires, as early in the morning and quite a lot loose, but hopefully the next ones are better.
And then, out of the dust, came his target. Tanak had just set a searing benchmark. The clock, measuring Elvin's time to Tanak, showed the stage. The stage was going to be a corner too long. The Welshman had lost his second place.
Elvin just dropping behind Oik there, just 2 seconds behind him though. 2 stages still to go, you can get that back.
Yeah, for sure, we can keep trying. This stage was not bad, to be honest, but yeah, okay.
With his metronomic precision, Seb Ogier was measuring his speed, measuring his effort in the 2 stages before the big one. Ogier demonstrating control, precision, everything calculated. Tanak, he decided, could have these stage wins, but Ogier will be a thorn in his side on the power stage.
One more stage to go. Is Ogier catchable? Can Evans get his place back? Who would take the risk this late on in the weekend?
Set against that magnificent and colourful background, it all was to end where it started, Guanajuato. Now, we hadn't seen much from Chris Meek so far on Sunday, one of our rally leaders in 5th place. Why hadn't he featured on Sunday stages so far? Well, he'd been saving it all up, calculating it himself for this very moment.
5 left plus opens and keep left, but narrow flat 5 right, care, tidy, and sudden line of 5.
Meek had waited for this moment. He was giving it everything. Coming into Guanajuato, at the end, he even sounded like a man who would not have his bonus points taken away from him.
I threw the kitchen sink at it. Honestly, no idea whether the hard or the soft is going to be the best tyre. For sure the road's going to clean a bit. I felt the soft giving me some grip, but I pushed like hell.
Others would have to find something very special to beat that. Thierry Neuville thought he had got what it took. But Neuville missed out on the full 5 by half a second. So, was Elfyn Evans going to serve up a dish of cold revenge for Sunday lunchtime?
3 right, opens long, and tightens early, late, 5 sharp of address, in, keep in. And late, 5 left sharp maybe, caution, don't cut, keep in. And 3 right sharp, don't cut, 60 king. 4 right plus, don't cut, opens 40 down, latish 8 left minus, keep in.
Next into the final dust, Tanak, the Estonian, in Elfyn's 2nd place. What about him? Would he keep the stage wins coming? On the snow in Sweden, he'd served up a massive shock right at the death. The answer was no. Not even the Iceman could touch his Toyota teammate's time. But Toyota loved the intent. Chris was still standing. Then, bowling into town in a rush to make up for the barren weekend last time out, the defending champion. And the numbers were looking good. But then they began to drain quickly in comparison to Chris. As Ogier straightened the C3 for the final dash over the cobbled street, had he done it? He had perfection, the measured perfection of a 5-times winner. He's turning Mexico into another Monte Carlo. And the bosses knew it. Meek, mild, beaten by less than a 10th.
Confirmation that Ogier claimed power stage glory by the smallest ever margin of 25 thousandths of a second. Meek, Neuville, Sordo and Lappi also receiving a bonus.
Who is fastest?
You by 0.1.
And the out?
It's plus 5.
Plus.
Sebastian Ogier, your 5th win here. Mexico's a special place for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always been since the start, and I'm so glad that it's continuing that way. It's been a tough weekend, honestly. Very difficult condition. It was not a trouble-free weekend for us, but we managed to make the best of it and came out with maximum point, I think, so perfect.
It's a fantastic 5 for Ogier in Mexico after a dominant display on the final day. Tanak in 2nd and Elfyn Evans giving M Sport their first podium of the year. Plenty to celebrate for Citroën.
What a wonderful result. He managed, even with a puncture and everything, he takes advantage of his position on the road on the first day, and here in the power stage he's also able to do the best time. Wow, What a performance!
It is tightening up in the Drivers' Championship. Tanak is still on top, while Seb Ogier leapfrogs Neuville for second. Just 10 points separate the top three. Elvin Evans' third place sees him move up 2 places to 5th. And in the manufacturer's standings, Toyota extend their lead, but now that lead is over Citroën as Hyundai drop to 3rd, with M Sport 32 points behind them. Sebastian Ogier, 5 times the maestro in Mexico, but this was no easy ride. It is back on home soil for the Frenchman next, with Rally Corsica just around the corner, and you'd be a fool to bet against him there. We'll see you back in Europe for round 4, but for now, it's adios from Rally Mexico.